Setting up the Dutch bucket system. Next, stay tuned. Alright guys, so we did it. Alright, so the system is set up. So first thing I had to do is put that 1-inch pipe at the bottom, alright, which meant that I had to increase the size of the bulkhead adapter. Alright, let me show you how I did that. So I need to replace this 1/2-inch bulkhead adapter with a 1-inch bulkhead adapter, as you see, much bigger. Okay, that's going to allow any kind of roots or anything that could accumulate, you know, to not interfere with the flow and have these guys overflow. All right, so first thing I need to do is remove this one. All right, and of course you want to keep those, you know, those are reusable. You just have to replace the neoprene washer here if you reuse them. All right. Big problem I have right now is that this hole needs to be enlarged, and the only way to enlarge it kind of correctly would be using a, you know, my step drill. Problem is that the step drill is too small. Okay, so I'm gonna need to use a hole saw, and the problem with the hole saw is that it needs a pilot, you know, hole, pilot bit, right? So let me show you how I get around that. To get around that, I'm going to use a board, you know, plywood or otherwise, you know, not picky. So what I want to do right now is make a hole with this in this board. All right, and I'm going to finish it from this side. All right. Because, yeah, you need a pilot hole, but the side of that hole saw can be guided by the hole itself. All right. So all I'm going to do, I'm going to put it over the hole and clamp it securely. Alright, so nice and tight. Now I can take this and have it followed inside of the guide. Alright. The hole's been enlarged to a level that I can put that in. Alright, so not difficult, you just need to know to do that. Alright. The cool thing that this also provides me with, and I'm going to try that this year, okay, so yeah, so aside from having, you know, the size advantage here, they have these filter strainer for aquariums, all right? Again, it's all in the not hydroponic, but aquarium world. And this slip fitting here is a 1-inch. So fits right inside, you know, the fitting. So that way, I'm going to be able to put it in the box, right? And instead of having any kind of return to try to prevent, you know, the hydrotons from coming out, this is going to do all of that for me in one application, right? So I'll put all the links below so that you can get these things. But yeah, that's kind of nifty here. Put it out, washer. and I'm going to tighten it a little bit more here, but yeah, so you see this is what is left of the drilling. All right, so it went right around with the pilot hole, you know, not needed because it was guided by the side of this board. This is now using a 1-inch bulkhead adapter, and the inside is all ready for. All right, here are the 5 buckets. The buckets have been well rinsed and washed. Now I have that 1-inch pipe here that's going to allow me to put a 1-inch slip again in the center of them, yeah, in the inside. So let's hook the bottom up. All right, and just as I did with this system here, okay, I just finished putting together the outlet, all right, of the Dutch bucket. So as I said before, this is now a 1-inch pipe, so it's going to drain everything much better and minimize the risk of, you know, clogging through roots or otherwise, and have the bucket overflow and empty my reservoir without my knowledge, right? That's why we're doing this. Next step, replacing this line here. All right, I'm going to show you why I'm replacing it, because it seems fine, you know, until you look a little closer here. All right, as you can see, there's a ton of mineral deposit everywhere, because obviously the nutrient solution is rich in all of these things, and that's why I had such a hard time with the emitters, which I'm not going to reuse again. It's just going to be a straight T fitting, or straight little outlet that's not going to try to monitor anything. It's just going to spill water in, well, nutrient solution. And yeah, so that's why I'm replacing it. Going to salvage my figure 8 here. But all the emitters are going to go. And again, you know, it's still quite cold, so, you know, I need to use this to soften the tip here. And terminate it with our figure 8 again. Okay? And this is just going to stay here. Alright, hey guys, so I'm going to take you through how I set a bucket up. Alright, I already done one here. I take a 5-gallon strainer mesh bag for paint, right? So, okay, that goes in a 5-gallon bucket, obviously, and you basically pour the paint in, you know, and it grabs all of the imperfection, whatever could be in suspension in the paint. So that's what I use here to keep the hydrotons kind of in check. Obviously not strong enough to hold roots in, right? Because that's why we upgraded to this 1-inch. These buckets have a nice little lip here, okay, which allows the elastic to kind of fit neatly and hold the strainer in place correctly. So in this particular case, you know, what all I'm going to have to do is take the hydrogen, put it in, and that's all there is to it. All right, so that's how, so these buckets are ready to have a plant. Once I do the other 3, I'll show you how I finish setting up the irrigation line. Couple of landscape staple is going to hold the line the irrigation line, you know, in each bucket. All right, at this time, all I have to do now is to punch the line and put the straight connectors right on the line. All right, so like that, and it just snaps right in. Right there. Now the reason I wanted to put it in before I did this is because I wanted it to be right. So you see how I'm holding it, because it wants to be like that here, which is nozzle down, all right? And that's what I want. So I'm holding it at 90 degrees to punch my holes and put the straight connector in. Yeah, it's still a little bit cool, so the tube is hard and it's not easy on the fingers. All right, guys, so system is installed, right? It's pretty simple. Let me take you in here so that you see a little bit more. One inch bulkhead adapter with the 1-inch line, right? The irrigation line, 1/2-inch poly, is held with staples, all right, landscape staples. And I have a straight kind of connector on every bucket. Now, is that going to be enough? Well, last year, if you recall, I had 2 of them, right? One that was metered, and well, both were metered. After a little while, you know, the metered one got all, so pressure equalizing, right, got all clogged up. I replaced one of them with those straight adapter, and everything was fine after that. So most of the season last year, I ran with only one working emitter, which was this one. It's not an emitter, it's just a straight line connector. So whatever pressure builds up by the pump is how much liquid they're going to get, and that's fine by me right now. All right, system 2 ready to go. We're mid-March right now, 17 to be precise. So plants should be coming in here in the next week and a half or so, 2 weeks at the most. So I'm shooting for beginning of April to put my tomatoes in here. The pepper should be following, if not that same week, really close by. And the only system we have left to put together here is the NFT system that's behind you, basically. We'll do that next, all right, next week. If this was useful, give me a like, and we'll see you soon. And yeah, don't forget, the comment section is there so that you guys ask questions, right? So ask away, you know, I reply to as many as I can, you know, usually most of them, because my channel's not that big yet, right? So, let's start a conversation. All right, guys? See you next week. Bye.